Since the end of the Chinese Exclusion Act, a new generalization has arisen that migrants around the world are young men in search of work. I got insight from Demetrios Papademetriou. He's president and co-founder of the Migration Policy Institute. I asked him if that generalization is accurate.
Well, people are moving for jobs, but they certainly are not just young men. They're people of all ages. And for a long time now, around 50% of the total immigration flow is made up of women. In fact, certain types of flows, women and children are as much as 70% of the total.
Oh, interesting. So we're seeing a shift there.
There has been a shift. It's gradual, but it totally reflects opportunities as much as family formation. During bad times in particular, the last 5 or 6 years, women have been more likely to keep their jobs or to find jobs than men have. We're talking globally now, okay? Europe, the United States and elsewhere. So that's why you see, women increasing in numbers.
We've come a long way from the Chinese Exclusion Act. That was back in 1882. I'm looking at numbers here. The age of people looking outside of China kind of shifting, where they want to leave China. That seems to be over. Millions actually coming to China. Can you talk about that trend?
Right, and that trend is indeed happening in exactly the way that you're saying. If you see if you look at the figures of net migration, in other words, people who are leaving versus the people, who are coming into China, and you look at all groups, you will actually see that over the past 10 or 15 years, every 5 years, the total number decreases by about 500,000. But this is happening everywhere. In other words, what you see is a two-way migration, because essentially migration follows commerce, trade, history, formal relationships, and above all, it's a neighborhood effect. So what you see is two-way flows increasingly. People are returning to China, and more people from the highly developed countries are moving to China.
For someone who's devoted 4 decades of your life looking at all the numbers, all the figures, all the information, what piques your interest at this stage?
How fast the way that we think about immigration is changing, and how dramatic the changes in our thinking and acting will have to be in the future. Immigration systems are created to try to regulate a discrete set of people who are trying to come to a country for a discrete set of activities. In reality, people go from country to country for different interests, let's say ranging from opportunity to family unification and formation, to tourism, and increasingly to education.
Where do you see things going in the future in terms of what countries are going to feel the pressures of immigration?
I think that you're going to see a revolution in terms of where it is that people are going to. So the big poles of attraction for the future of immigration are going to be first and foremost China, followed by the rest of the BRICS, and the unusual thing comes as follows, followed by countries that until very recently, and in the public mind even today, they're thought of as major countries of emigration, countries that people are leaving. You're Mexico, you're Turkey, you're Indonesia, you're Colombia. All of these places are going to be major poles of attraction. And if we know anything about migration, is that a country can fill up with immigrants, historically speaking, in an extraordinarily short period of time, a matter of a decade or two. So this is going to be interesting as, the further we move, from today.
Dimitri, fascinating. Thanks so much for your time.
It's a pleasure, anytime.